Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another StorkeLog. Basically, the other day I finished the first three services in the StorkeCentral backend. So we have Montecito, which is our API gateway. We have Rincon, which is our discovery service, and then we have our La Cumbre, which is our user service. So La Cumbre is the main one that I was trying to finish before I started actually, integrating stuff with the actual app. And also last week, Flutter 3 came out, so there's a lot of cool new stuff that's been changed. And so I decided this would be a good time to start working on the app again. I decided to kind of start over from the ground up, just because there's a lot of stuff in, infrastructure-wise in the way that I made it originally that I didn't like, and I thought it would be, a whole mess if I tried just adapting it. It would be a lot easier to start from the ground up. It also allowed me to, make some videos, right? Some more StorkeLogs, actually documenting the process as it goes from the ground up, just so, I don't know, whoever wants to see can see how it's done, and I don't know, maybe learn something from it. I don't know. But yeah, it should be fun. So today, this is gonna be like a super basic video, just starting from, the bare bones Flutter app. And I think by the end of this video, we're just gonna have a general structure, like a skeleton in our app. So no actual, API interfacing yet, but just a good bare bones structures to go off of. Starting off with first integrating Firebase. We have a Firebase project for StorkeCentral, so a lot of the stuff we'll be using Firebase. Actually, that's our main authentication source for our, our ECSB Google OAuth. But anyways, here. So they actually also changed it. It's been a while since I actually used Flutter, and they completely revamped the setup process for Firebase, for Flutter. You no longer have to do all like the stupid thing where you make an app for iOS, you make an app for Android in here, where you add an app, and then you oh, okay, that's cool. It actually shows you this here too. Anyways, and then you fucking go into all the individual folders, drag in the plist files. What a pain. But anyways, it looks like they actually made it a lot easier. So let's just go through this. Stop rambling. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with. So yeah, I am in my main directory for the project. We're gonna go ahead and do Firebase and log in. I think I have the CLI tools and everything installed. Yeah, okay, so we're logged in. And then we're gonna activate our Flutterfire CLI. Cool. We're gonna go ahead and do Flutterfire configure. And then we're gonna select where's StorkeCentral. There we go. Anyways, iOS, Android, and web. Yeah, that's good. So you can see it automatically makes the apps for you, which is really cool on the actual, the actual Firebase portal here. And then what it also will do, so you see those apps are being made. And then what it also will do is automatically initialize everything inside your actual project, inside the actual. So you see there's our Firebase options file. Yeah, so you see all the files are going to be automatically updated. So very cool. So okay, let's go ahead, and what I like to do is just with the default thing, just initialize it, just to have a test to make sure it's working on all the platforms, and then we'll just link the button. What we'll do is link the button up to. Jesus, someone's like yelling outside. We'll link it up to this testing branch on on our Firestore database. What we're actually going to do is make the button actually, so here, after we implement the counter, increment the counter, yeah. Basically, we're just doing a simple Firestore addition where we're just going to be adding a simple message and I guess out the time server is going to go with the message. Just so when we press the button, we'll just see a little testing message pop up so we know it's working. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and run this. Hopefully, this should work. So obviously it clearly did not work. Here's a quick montage of me trying to fix it. Some Googling, Stack Overflowing, But basically, so it was a CocoaPods error. CocoaPods is the iOS dependency manager. And so I have an M1 Mac, so internally, what CocoaPods, I guess it was trying to use, one of the tools it was trying to use was like Intel based, so it didn't run well on, or it didn't run on ARM. I guess because, I don't know, it's stupid, or I guess I had an incorrect version of CocoaPods, an older version. Basically, the fix here was literally just me uninstalling CocoaPods and then reinstalling it through Homebrew, which is another Mac OS like software library manager or whatever. And I guess the point of doing that one was since Homebrew completely managed installing CocoaPods and its dependencies, it made sure to install the M1 equivalents for all the dependencies. So I guess, since previously some of the dependencies were Intel, so when CocoaPods tried calling them, it didn't run, blah, blah, blah. Basically, that was a problem. Pretty simple fix, just kind of annoying. And then it finally built. The first build does take some time. That's just because of how large the Firebase libraries are, since it has to compile all of them. But after that, all your subsequent builds should be really fast, especially on M1. But yeah. So, funny enough, after we got the app to build, we ran into another problem. The Firebase records weren't updating, got no permissions. This one was pretty simple, actually. I just forgot to, by default, your reads and writes are locked on your database if you're not authenticated. Obviously, we're not authenticated here, so I had to just go and change that. I just set it to, any reads and writes before December 2022 should be good to go, just for testing. And there you go, that was the fix for that. And then here we're trying to build the Android app. And there's another error here. Such is the life of software development, errors on errors. Well, this one is pretty simple. The default minimum Android SDK number was like 19 or something, which is like all the way from like 2010 or something stupid. So a long time ago. So obviously some of the Firebase libraries didn't support that. You had to increase the minimum SDK. So yeah, I was just looking up what the minimum ones are, so I could use that one. We ended up going with 24, I think, which is Android 7 for the minimum, and the target was 31, which is just the current one. So yeah, those two fixes, they made it good to go. And then here you can see all three platforms working just with the simple counter app, right? So you press the counter and then it adds a thing. Fuck, what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, it adds it to the Firestore. It adds a record, right? So here's all three going, and that's what I like to do. I like, while I'm going along, making sure any new feature add works simultaneously on all the platforms. So now we can actually start working on the app, the fun part. So what I like to do first is, when I start actually working on stuff, I like to make a little like a skeleton first in the the project structure. So the structure I like to use is inside a lib folder. I'm going to have first a models directory. This is just for storing any objects and classes I'm going to reuse. Then I'll make a utils folder, so things like config files will go in here, and later we'll make a config.dart. Then I'm going to have a pages and a utils folder. Or sorry, I already said utils, a pages and a widgets folder. So the pages, you can guess the actual UI code for the app. So different pages in the app correspond to different files and directories in the pages directory. And then the widgets folder would be for any UI widget specifically that I want to reuse across pages. Now what we want to do is, just for the bare bones, there's two packages that I usually use in almost every app I make. Flutter.env and Fluoro. So this is just installing both of them really quickly. Flutter.env, just like what it sounds like, allows you to package an environment variable file with your app and then read from that at runtime. So I like to, put all the secrets in an env file. Makes, collaboration a lot easier. Keeps everything protected and safe. And Fluoro here is actually like a really nice routing library I've found. It just makes doing advanced routing a lot easier, and it also has some cool built-in transitions. So this is also a very big library that I use for a lot of stuff. So here's how to set up Fluoro. You basically just have to make that Fluoro router first. And then what I like to do is I like to make just a version object. So just a way for me to keep track of my app's version. It's a very simple object here. It parses a string using, the like semantic versioning standard. And then in my config.dart right next to our Flora router, I just have a little variable called app version. That way I can reference anytime I need to check if it's a beta or outdated, whatever, alert the user. And also I'm just making some variables I'm going to be using later, just for like API keys and stuff. So here I'm just making a basic homepage so we can like test the routing. Just a simple stateful widget, just scaffold to StorkeCentral, just so we can make sure that our flow is working. So now we're gonna actually set up our route. Well, first we're actually gonna set up our run app function here in our main.dart. So now this is just setting up our run app function, right? So we're making a material app basically. We give it a title, initial route, and then the on-generated route is where we actually use our Flora router object. So it has basically a route generator. And once you have that, that basically tells Flutter where to actually look when we are making that route. And then here I'm just setting up some the Firebase app, and the Firebase analytics object for the navigation observer. So that gets bumped directly to Firebase analytics whenever navigation changes there. And then there you can see how we define the route. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. For the home route, which is just // we return the home page. And then here you can see that on the left, it works. That's our blank page with StorkeCentral. That's what we go to immediately. So now what we're doing in the config.dart file is just creating some variables for stuff that we're going to use later for our StorkeCentral. So here, these are our API keys. So I'll put some screenshots here. But basically, our school has an API that allows us to get certain information, like dining hall. The dining menus is one of them. So it's just we're putting our API keys for those, as well as a Mapbox access token, which is what we're going to be using for our maps provider. And then also some other Boolean flags, like if the user is logged in anonymously, right, through like a guest account, and if they're in like offline mode. So we're doing here very simple. We're just using that .env library to initialize our API key flags to the values from the .env file. Now we're gonna make our tab bar controller. This is essentially just a widget that's basically like it manages the windows from the tab bar. So this is basically what I like to do when I have a tab bar. I have a controller for it where it kind of acts as the main widget that shows the tab bar and then manages what tab is being shown. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's just a scaffold. And here is a library using curved navigation bar. So this is just how to set that up really quickly using a scaffold in our tab bar controller. And we're adding in some image assets for the icons. And then we're going to go ahead and run this to see what it looks like. So yeah, you can see there it's just a nice looking tab bar. And then, when you click different tabs, it changes. And that's because of that curve page integer variable that we have there that helps us manage helps the tab bar know what is the current state being shown. And now what we're going to do next is we're actually going to implement a page view, and that's going to allow us to just have an example of navigating between the different pages. So setting up the page view, very simple. We use the page view widget, and that has a children property, which is just the list of widgets you want to use as pages. So here we're just using those sample pages I set up for our 4 tabs. And there you can already see, it recognizes like touch gestures for swiping and shit. To actually link that now to when someone presses the bottom bar, you want to automatically swipe, we can use a page controller. So that's that variable we have there at the top. And very simple, all we have to do is on the bottom bar being touched in that on tap function, we just call our page controller and tell it to animate to whatever page was tapped, right, by that index. And that'll work that way. And another thing that we can do now is if someone swipes, we want to now update the bottom bar too, right? So since we're using that curve page value to store the state of what the current page is, we can again just use the on-change value of the page view to just directly set it to that. So then now you see that it will work whether you are tapping it the bar or you're swiping on the page. So that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully it was not completely boring. Next time we're going to be doing our onboarding flow and user like account creation and stuff. So that's when we'll be actually be interfacing with the StorkeCentral API. Should be a little more interesting. I'll probably also make the next video like more faster paced, not as like nitty gritty technical like tutorial type of video. But yeah, hopefully that one will be a little less boring and a little more exciting. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see everyone next time.
Ay, no drama, I don't want no baby mama. That's too many comments, to be honest. I just want Balenciaga. Wake up every day, do what I wanna. I just might go take a flight to Guatemala just to fuck somebody's daughter. Goddamn, that G6 touchdown like Rams. 2 flick for the gram, take a pic for a fan. When I'm in the city, she don't never got no mans, no drama. I don't want no baby mama. That's too many comments, to be honest. I just want Balenciaga.